the morning of, I'm walking into practice. If you weren't wrestling that day, you had a heavy leg day. We were going to get a lift in. I
Okay.
get my lift in. We go out to Chipotle. I come back up to the wrestling room just because Park Hill was coming through because they had a tournament in Jeff City right down the road. So I was in there playing football with them, just like messing around. And Coach Smith comes running in all frantic, and it's like, John, come over here, come here. We're like, what do you weigh? And obviously that was when, the rule's seven, so you tell him seven. And it's like, I gotta be seven. I did not tell him I just ate Chipotle and he's like, well, it's like the most you ever lost in a practice. I don't know, like five. Five's probably that'd be a pretty good practice. I mean, I'm pretty sucked down. Yeah, five. I've lost five before. And he's all right. Well, that's gonna be a lot. And he just like walks back into his office. Like, okay. And so I go on, keep playing for a little bit, and I'm starting to walk out, and I peek into his, Coach, you need me to start running? And he's like, yeah, Sinnan's got pink eye. We don't have a 33. We're gonna go open if you don't. I was like, okay, so I'll go get my stuff on.
John Erneste is every coach's dream athlete. He works hard, puts the team above himself, and is always prepared whenever his number is called. I guess that's why he ended up placing 4 times at Park Hill High School and finishing as an All American for Mizzou. Back in Kansas City, Missouri, John is a wrestling coach at his alma mater of Park Hill High School. I'm Kelby Bachman, and this is Let's Talk Wrestling. In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoria.coffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee. So what's up?
Not
How
a
was your
whole lot.
yeah?
Oh yeah, you got shoot off season or not off season stuff, but we're on break for the high school, so
Yeah.
still coaching a little bit and been
Yeah.
able to get in the mornings. Yeah, so it's been shoot wrestling in the mornings, hanging out with the kid in the afternoons, and do it
Yeah.
again
Did
next day.
did you guys get in like when did your wrestling break start? Like when did you say, all right, let's have this? And did you get back today?
Say that again.
When did your Christmas break for your wrestling team
There we
start? Like
go.
yeah, when did you stop and then when did you start back up?
Shoot, we went up until it would have been Christmas Eve. We were off. So the 23rd we had practice that morning, and then
Okay.
oh yeah, and then we were back at it the 26th.
No
We
way.
had
Are you serious?
Yeah, our girls left for we had a girls leave for Wonder Woman, which is a big tournament in Missouri.
Mhm.
Uh, they left on shoot it was Sunday, so 2 days ago, or was that yesterday? Yeah. So they're wrestling today, and they have another
Oh, no
day two
way.
tomorrow, and then we leave with the guys on Thursday to go up to Clash in Wisconsin. And
No
so yeah,
kidding.
we took 2 days off and kept it going.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
we had our kids shoot messaging us yesterday because I gave the guys an off day, just Sunday or whatever. But they were messaging trying to open up the room. So all right, I guess we'll go up here to open the room for an hour.
It's Sunday, like take the day.
Yeah, no, they were all about it.
Interesting then, is there like recovery, rest and recovery has
Right.
really become a huge it's really become something big in college in wrestling, I should say in general. So like, do you have to pull back the reins on these guys? Like
I mean, it
like
helps that
force them
like
to
right now,
rest?
right now. I mean, for some of them, yes. Like we have a handful of kids that are they'll. I mean, we're having to make sure that our practices we're not wrestling live every day. We're doing making sure that we spread things out long enough, far enough apart. Um, and it's actually something I've gotten better with. like since I've been done wrestling, because I'm sure I was one of those kids that was trying to run myself into the ground.
Yeah.
And but now that I'm done wrestling, like I've not done. I guess I still competed at claw, and then but like I've been running a lot, so I do like training for marathons. It's like I can't run hard 2 days in a row. I have to like
Right.
space everything out whenever I make a plan for, an 18-week marathon plan. I'm having to make sure that my lifts aren't right before a workout, and I
Hmm.
start doing the same thing whenever I start scheduling our high school practices, making sure we're not, running into the ground on Monday and then coming back and doing it again on Tuesday. Making and having a couple days before a match that, hey, we gotta get feeling good before every single match.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a tough kind of push pull or, like kind of pulling the strings as a coach, feeling the pulse of the team, but also like forcing them to kind of take a break.
It's
You're like,
like
dude,
it's like, hey,
no, no, I'm not opening up that damn room today.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell them no whenever they want to get extra work in, but I'll make sure that, hey, we had 10 kids in an open room, making sure that, hey, we're not killing them at practice the next day just because, I mean, because they're going hard in an open room. They're pushing themselves anytime they can.
That's got to
So
be also like uh, gosh, I'm losing words today, but kind of a not satisfying, but sort of like a feeling that like you don't have to push them, that they are kind of pushing themselves.
self,
Like,
yeah, it's been one of those like it's hard, especially with high schoolers, trying to figure out like what
right.
motivates them. And when
Hmm.
you have a set of leader, like I feel like this year we have a pretty good set of seniors that are all very like intrinsically motivated. And so whenever you walk into the room and you have our, 175 pounder that's, I mean, he's going hard every single day. He's grabbing, if partner's not going hard enough, he's pushing him away. Hey, we'll get somebody else. Like I need to keep going. And I mean, when that's the person setting the tone in your room, I mean, that's a great thing to have. Everyone looks around. It's like, oh, well, that's just what you do. And
Yeah.
so the more you get three or four of those people to spread them out across a room, and I mean, they're all friends. They all like each other. That's when
Hmm.
you have a good room that's going to be fun. So that's how we've been basically this year. It's been
Hmm.
one of our more fun years.
Nice. Yeah. Was that you in the high school room? Were you one of
I
those
was
guys?
I
Or
was I was a worker. I was not
yeah,
like I wasn't gonna yell at people. I wasn't gonna like speak up a whole lot, but I would work. That was kind of
yeah.
my thing.
Lead
So
by example.
exactly. I mean, it was, we're all jogging around at the beginning. I'm running on the very far on the outside, touching the walls. It's kind of something that's been passed down from whenever I was coming up. It was Alan Waters was a senior my eighth grade year. Whenever my dad was the coach, I'd walk in, see the room, I'd see Alan lapping everybody on the far,
Mhm.
touching every single wall. I'm like, all right. I mean, he's the only one doing it, and he's the guy that got his name up there 4 times on the state champs. So, all
Mhm.
right, whenever I get to high school, I'm doing the exact same thing. And then whenever I got to Mizzou, it was the exact same way. Alan's in
Mhm.
there. He was a senior my freshman year, and he's touching every single wall. I'm making sure I'm doing the exact same thing. Carry that on, and you start to see, guys behind you, the younger guys coming up behind you that start doing the same things,
Mhm.
looking at who's having success and how do I follow that.
Yeah. Speaking of Alan, he's getting married this weekend,
Yeah,
right?
guys, yeah, Wednesday, so New Year's Eve.
New Year's. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, so yeah,
congratulations to him. Yeah. When I was leaving the office today, I said I'm going to talk to Juan Ernesto today,
there we
and
go.
Coach
Oh yeah,
Joe was like, "Oh, really? Yeah, I'm going to see him in a couple days because
just
Coach
coming
Joe's
in
going to be."
town for
Yep.
it. Yeah, I saw
Yep.
him, was it last weekend for the Stampede? He flew in for one day, or like maybe 12 hours. He was in Kansas City, stopped by the Stampede.
Oh, no kidding. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were flying back from North Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Oh, so
They
on his way
flew,
back.
so he
Oh.
got a flight to Kansas City, got in at shoot 9, or it was late that night, and then flew out at 9, or he got in at 1 a.m., came to the Stampede at 8, and then flew out at 9 p.m. back to yeah.
Wow, cool. Okay.
But that was
Um,
good to see him
yeah.
again here in 2 days. Yeah,
Yeah. Were you guys competing at the Stampede then?
yeah, we
Or
had our team there.
oh, your
So
team was there. Okay.
yeah, we're right here in Kansas City, so
Okay.
it's a huge tournament for the closest thing we can find. So yeah, we sent the whole team there. Ended up having two placers.
Nice.
Pretty good tournament for us.
Yeah, I want to point out real quick, like, okay, the average listener who says two placers, like, psh, that's good, but like we're talking about the Stampede. And I
Right.
mean, it's not Iron Man or Super 32 caliber, but
Right.
like this is one of the best sort of local-ish tournaments, if you want to call it that, in the area.
Yeah, I mean, you got all sorts of schools coming in. I think Lake Highland Prep brought some kids. We had Melissa, Texas came up. You have all sorts of, I mean, shoot, for a while, Stillwater was coming up. I mean, there's huge
Yeah.
teams that are, and I mean, those finals matches are all massive. I mean, you had our 13 pounder wrestled, um, shoot, Araya, he's out of Buford, one of the like eight brothers out of there. But
Yeah.
The Mills brothers
Yeah.
wrestled Araya Mills in the quarterfinals, and I mean
Wow.
Araya ran through that tournament. That's
Yeah.
he's number one in the country and
For a
getting after it.
reason.
So the finals of those tournaments are huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And where's that held at?
Right here in Kansas City, it was at Hale Arena this year, so
Okay.
it's just right outside of downtown. It's a
Gotcha.
15-minute drive for us, so I mean, it's
Nice.
the perfect thing. We get to go in there, get some great wrestling, and then sleep in our own beds at night.
Yes. Yeah. Um, what do you think about that versus getting a hotel? Have you ever thought about? I know it seems kind of silly, but like, to get a hotel and have that sort of experience and also kind of have your eyes on the guys a little
I'm on
bit.
kids, yeah.
Yeah.
I In high school, especially like if we didn't have other tournaments where we're traveling with the squad, I would think that I mean that's a good idea, especially getting ready for you get ready for a big tournament, almost like a simulation for the state tournament. Whenever you all look up, drive a couple hours, stay in a hotel, you have an overnight tournament.
Hmm.
Um, I think if that's your first experience is at the state tournament, it can be a little bit intimidating.
For sure.
But I mean, luckily we have we're going to the Clash here in a couple days, so that we're
Yeah.
going to be able to pack up the whole team. We're going 6.5 hours up to Wisconsin. We'll stay in a hotel there, stay overnight, get everybody basically acclimated to, hey, this is what it's like. This is the expectation. This is,
Hmm.
we expect to see all 14 of you guys, going to the state tournament. And so, we're doing this because we want you guys to be prepared. So it's nice
Yeah.
to have now that we have another tournament on the schedule. I think if we didn't have something big like that where we're traveling, it'd be a bigger thought to maybe do something like that for one of these closer tournaments.
Yeah. Is it still? I know you're saying like, okay, we've prepared you by going to these bigger tournaments, but there's still something. Is there still something about the state tournament that just
Oh, yeah,
hits different, Like,
it is. That's something that like I don't know. I look at it a little bit differently now that I had more success in college than I did in high school. I was never won state. I was in the state finals twice and ended up getting upset in both matches. Um, But it's one of those things that I am able to look back at it and it's like, hey, it's a huge tournament, but it's just another tournament. It's something that you've done. Like everyone's done this. You've gone to bigger tournaments. You've gone to, but when you walk in, you definitely feel the rumblings of it's the state tournament. This is what you trained for all year.
yeah,
I think that's kind of where the pressure comes from. Is it's the last hurrah.
yeah. How do you get into a tournament like the Clash? I mean, it's such a big tournament. It's not even near where you're at, like,
Right.
you're going up to Wisconsin, like what I don't even like, was it set in stone before you got there, or did you work your way into
We've
it?
Yeah, we've been in and out. So
Okay.
when I was in high school, we had I mean a top 15, top 20 team in the country, and so we were going to Ironman, and then that was kind of our big tournament for the year. And then once I had graduated, I think 2 or 3 years down the road, we had a really good like dual team, and
Hmm.
so we still had some of the top end kids that were ranked in the nation, but when you put together we had 14 guys that were going to end up at the state tournament looking to place. So
Wow.
we're like, well, we got to get to somewhere where we can um, that team competition. And
Hmm.
so we got invited once I mean, we were pretty highly ranked at that point. And then I think the first year we went up there, they got, I don't know, second or third because they were in the final three with, it was Lake Highland Prep and St. Ed's the first year that they went up there. And I was, yeah, I mean, that was, a, I mean, like 10 years ago.
Hmm.
And then we've been in and out depending on what teams we have, whether we think it's a good experience, whether we need, guys to go up there and take some lumps, or
Mhm.
we have a team that can go up there and compete. And so we've just kept a good relationship with the tournament director. One of our assistant coaches at Park Hill, Josh Zabel, he wrestled at UW Lacrosse. And so he was a
Okay.
couple time All American, I believe, there. And so he's connected pretty well up in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So he's always, hey, we have a team for it. Let's see if we can get us in. And so
Nice.
he's been in contact. It helps to have different connections through wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it feels like those connections never go away. Like,
Oh.
you could wait 30 years and you could see somebody be like, "Hey, is that? Oh my gosh!" And you like picked up like yesterday. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone has those shared experiences, and that's kind of the beauty of wrestling.
Yeah. So you're from Park Hill, correct? Or you went
Yep.
to school there? And Park
Yep.
Hill is in the Kansas City metro area.
Yep.
Oh,
We're in the Kansas City. Um, yeah, we're in this like Kansas City city limits. Kansas City's a large area.
yeah. Yeah. Um, well, speaking of that, what do you think of the move of the Chiefs moving to Kansas? Huh?
I
Huh?
mean, at first I was a little bit, I mean, it's a 15 to 20-minute drive for me either way. So
Yeah.
whether it was going out to where it is now or over to Kansas, doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
But when I saw the deal that they got, it's hard to say no. So I can't blame them too much. I mean, I already
Yeah.
drive out that way for Sporting KC games, so I
Nice.
love going to
Yeah.
soccer games out there, so it'll be right next to it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I know there's a lot of uproar with it going to Kansas, knowing that
Mhm.
I'm still proudly in the Missouri side of Kansas City. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
What's the dynamic of wrestling in a city the size of Kansas City? You know,
yeah.
like, do you travel a lot or not because you get a lot of good competition there? Like, I'm just, I don't talk to many people who live in a
Mm,
big, who wrestled in a city that size, you know? So I'm just kind of
yeah.
curious what it's like.
It, it's really not hard to find competition. I mean,
Mm.
we wrestled between Staley for a long time. Liberty's always good.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Staley. I forgot about Staley.
our schools are 10 minutes apart between
Yeah.
us, Staley. It takes 15 minutes to get to Liberty. If you go down south, it's, 15, 20 minutes. Everything's really pretty close. So we're seeing all these, I mean, nationally ranked wrestlers on a weekly basis. So we don't have to try too hard within the
Mhm.
state. And then you have tournaments like the Stampede that are right in your backyard where you get to see a lot of the schools come from St. Louis. So your CBCs, your
Yeah.
Lafayette, like all of those schools are starting to come over. And then shoot, we even have near the end of the season, we have a tournament at Winnetonka that's basically a mini state tournament for class four, like the big class. And so
Yeah.
it's all the big schools are there, and so you really don't have to move a whole lot. It makes it really nice.
Yeah. Were you, so are you in the part where, growing up, I should say, were you in
Yeah.
the Park Hill district, school district, or like,
Yep.
do you open enroll because the city's so big and you get to kind of pick and choose where you go? Like, how does that
Oh,
work?
so you have to be within your school district. So
Okay.
unless it's a private school, you have to be live within the school district. My dad was actually the head coach of Park Hill since I
Oh,
was
nice.
2 years old. So
Yeah.
I grew up 5 minutes from the school.
Yeah.
My dad was my coach for my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And then he was the athletic director my senior year. So I'd grown up kind of through and through with Park Hill.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the kids you grow up wrestling with. So like our kids club, was Team Central. Now it's Greater Heights, but it was running right out of the Park Hill room. And so we had myself, Keyshawn Hayes, Canton Marriott, Colston DeBlasi, a bunch of Russ Coleman, Allen even came through there. Everyone grew up wrestling in this room. So by the time
Wow.
you got to high school, pretty much you're ready to be kind of
Yeah.
Park Hill. That was kind of our pipeline growing up.
Yeah, those are some names there. Your father wrestled in college. Did you know
Yeah.
that? Did you like talk to him about it, or did he like openly talk about it, or did you have to like drag it out, or like how did that whole conversation kind of go?
I mean, I think he was really, I mean, I think he found more pride in being a coach. Um, I know, like growing up, so he started wrestling his sophomore year of high school,
Wow. Okay.
and so his freshman year he was a 5'6" um, point guard for
Yeah.
down in Memphis, Tennessee, playing against some of the like I mean, they
Yeah.
got NBA players coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, straight out of high school. I think he has a name that he held him to 34 points before he fouled out. And that's when the coach brought him over and said, "Hey, I think you might have a little more success in wrestling." And so he ended
Wow.
up started wrestling his sophomore year, and then ended up second at state in his senior year. And so he was,
Wow.
yeah, pretty quick progression there.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, just continued with it, stuck with it, went to UCM, so Central Missouri, and yeah, wrestled there for 4 years, I believe.
Wow.
So a lot of the names that I see whenever I was walking through Mizzou, he's like, "Oh yeah, we wrestled them." There was one year I think we even beat them. Yeah, and so they have stories from when they were in college where they put together a pretty good team.
Wow.
But
And
yeah,
they still progress or still have a pretty solid team.
they just got a new coach a couple years ago that's been putting trying to keep kind of bring it back. Got a new wrestling room, got it up and running.
Yeah. Is Patrick Rhodes on that staff?
He was, yeah. I don't know if he still is, but I know he was two
Okay.
summers ago. I saw him. He would come in whenever I was running some freestyle practices. He'd pop in.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, your dad got good fast. And then is that how he got to Missouri and is that how he
Yeah,
settled in Missouri?
so in when he was a senior, he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with college.
Yeah.
And so I think he drew a circle on the map that was 8 hours outside of anywhere within 8 hours of Memphis, Tennessee. That's
Okay.
where he was living right there. And so wherever he could drive to, that was going to be he's trying to find which schools had wrestling, which ones where could he keep competing.
Hmm.
And yeah, just ended up at UCM. That's where he kept running with it. I mean, all of his shoot, all the people I grew up with, like our assistant coach at Park Hill was his best man in his wedding, and um,
Really? Wow.
was wrestled with him at UCM. And I mean, that's a guy that I still talk to every day. He's running, Missouri USA wrestling for our freestyle stuff. So Mike Tuck, he's been all around. But all of it came from whenever he was at UCM. I know Gary Mayab was coaching
Yeah.
there, I believe, or shoot, and then Mike Haggerty was his coach, which ended
Huh.
up being he's a ref at the NCAAs right now and
Yeah.
doing all sorts of stuff. So it's all these names that I grew up with, being from Kansas City, or you know, all right here where kind of everything started was him at UCM. Yeah,
Yeah. Did he kind of start the Park Hill? Like, is
yeah.
that what you kind of said?
So in '98. Park Hill and Park Hill South. So they built a new school for Park Hill South. And so everyone moved over to Park Hill South. All the coaches, everyone pretty much left Park Hill, went over to Park Hill South. My
Okay.
dad was coaching at Blue Springs under Mike Haggerty.
Mhm.
And then decided, he's like, hey, this is my shot to be a head coach. Went over to Park Hill. And then from '98, I think they got 24th place. And then
Mhm.
5 years later in 2003, won his first state title.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Even to get 24th in your first year is,
yeah, yeah. I
you
mean, yeah,
know,
you have some wrestlers that are making it to state and at least having some success. But
exactly. Yeah. Um, you said that he wasn't your head coach your senior year. What was that?
yeah,
What was that like, I mean, did you just transition to an assistant that you knew or, was he still in your corner? Like how was all
yeah,
that go down?
I think my dad did a really good job of not being the overbearing like parent coach. So
Gotcha. Okay.
coming all the way through, even like whenever I was a freshman in high school, it was like, hey, Mike Tuck over there, that's your coach. He's going to make like you listen to what he says, you do everything he says, and you're going to be just fine. And so my dad would still sit in the corner, but Tuck was the one that was yelling. Tuck was the guy I'm looking for advice. What am I doing? And my dad was able to kind of sit back and be a dad. Um, he'd still obviously I think he'd held me to a higher standard as far as he couldn't play favorites.
Hmm.
So by the time we got to I think my junior year, we didn't have wrestle offs, but it was I had a wrestle off. It was like he so if things, I mean, he made sure that everything was fair, and so I think that probably was a little bit harder on me, but
Hmm.
none of it was things he knew I couldn't handle. So
Yeah.
he was very good about not being the overbearing about wins and losses. How he's like, hey, Mike Tuck's your coach. You
Mhm.
listen to him, and I'll take care of being a dad. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when you're the head coach is and I'm not speaking out of experience, but just you kind of sort of on accident make it harder because you're
yeah.
not trying to play favorites, and so by not playing favorites, you're like making it worse.
Making it, yeah. Your son is now your least favorite. That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Um, so when did you start wrestling? I mean, I know you said you kind of were like around it when you were 2 years old, but did you sort of just jump in right away?
Yeah, I mean, I was at practice probably when I was 4 or 5.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, just kind of grew from there. I was in a room 2 or 3 times a week with practices from 5 all the way through.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it was just something I was born into. That was the only thing we knew. And shoot, all
Yeah.
my best friends that I grew up with, I met when I was, shoot, 6 years old.
Yeah. Did you ever take a break from it at any point? Like, hey, you know what? I don't want to do it this year or anything like that?
Not really. I played a lot of sports, so
Yeah.
I was able to kind of rotate from seasons. And so when you're a
Nice.
kid,
Okay.
you don't have, if I'm not wrestling, from August to August, it's not nearly as, kind of you get burnt out.
True.
But I was wrestling from I played football in the fall, wrestled through the winter, wrestle and play baseball in the spring and summer. And then obviously I'd take off from shoot, whatever that is, as soon as freestyle season was over, especially when you're a kid, it's nice. Freestyle's
Yeah.
over in May. So I'd play
Mhm.
baseball through the summer and then start back up in the fall with wrestling. So having those breaks, I think helped. Um, I don't know, it's something crazy you see with kids now where they're wrestling year round as a
Yeah.
7 year old. And it's like, there's a whole lot of other sports out there that a lot of fun and also teach you the same. Like you're just learning how to move. You're learning how to be an athlete. Those are the things that
Yeah.
are going to pay off. I think shit, you get to getting recruited as a high schooler and you got a lot of college coaches that are asking, well, what other sports you play?
Hmm.
Like, what other things are you interested in? What are you like? How do you know, where's that competitiveness come from? Is it just from wrestling or are you finding it in other areas?
Yeah. Did you have that in other areas? Like, were you competitive in football? Were you
Yeah.
competitive in baseball? Were you competitive in chess or, whatever you're playing?
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. Anything, if you make it a game, I'm playing to win. So, yeah, it was shit. I played baseball all the way through high school. I wanted to play soccer my senior year. I was gonna try out for the soccer team, and the coach was like, "Hey, wrestling season's like a month away. You're not playing soccer for us this year. Like you're not getting hurt your senior year. I'm not going to be the one that does that." So, but I was always looking for things that where I could compete. I was, you know, if we were once it was off season, you're playing in indoor soccer leagues. You're playing in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Shoot, we all sucked at basketball. We'd go and we'd hit the courts after school, just I mean, we had probably too much energy as kids.
Dude, watching a bunch of wrestlers play basketball is like to me it's so entertaining,
Oh yeah.
because it's just so awful. But yeah, because it's like they can be athletic at other things, but the second you hand a wrestler a basketball, it's like it's oh my God, what is this?
Nobody is good at basketball. I will take that like there is not a single wrestler that can play basketball.
Yeah. But did you do football also throughout high school then?
I did not. So I stopped playing football in 8th grade.
Okay.
I was 103 pounds my freshman year, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not sure this is going to be for me." But
Yeah.
yeah, so I ended up just lifting weights through that fall semester and then or fall season, and then
Yeah.
just started with wrestling. So I just did wrestling and baseball from there on.
Oh, but at least you kept with baseball. So Missouri they must have a summer season because I know there are some
It's
states
spring.
that
It's late spring.
it's a late spring season. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my senior year, I had graduated, but we still had games. Like
Yeah.
we were playing through the end of May. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I graduated in Iowa and our baseball season really only started getting going in May, late
Right.
May. We played until, I mean, if you went to state, it was, middle of
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good that like because when would freestyle stop or not stop, but like The bigger
Yeah,
tournaments, what time?
I would leave baseball practice and go to wrestling practice. So
Yeah.
I would have wrestling or baseball right after school, and then hopping over to wrestling 3 times a week. Basically, it was in the same room because we'd still have right there up at Park Hill. I spent a lot of hours at school.
Yeah. Did you also have like club practices that you went to in high school? Like, did you go
Yeah.
high school practice, club practice, back to back and stuff? No.
No, so we would, I'm not even sure if we were allowed to, but it was pretty much our high school practices were shoot from 2:30 to 4:30. And so I wasn't going to double dip after that. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, we went pretty hard on those. Made sure we got our work in. Yeah, we weren't doing double there because once the club season starts for like winter, it's a lot for the kids. So
Hmm.
those practice are basically your 6 and under all the way up to 14U.
Gotcha.
So
Did you
a
say
little
you
bit.
started at 2:30?
Yeah, that's our school got out at 2:30.
What? That seems
It was
early.
it was nice. Yeah.
I
Now
bet it was nice.
nowadays they get out at 3:30 and we don't start practice till 4:30. I'm getting home at 7. So
Wow, you don't start
yeah,
practice
but
till 4:30?
yeah, well we have 70 kids out on a 2 mat wrestling room.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll run like a JV novice practice
Yeah.
for the first hour and then we'll start varsity practice at 4:30 and get rolling there. And
Wow.
so it helps for me because I don't work in the school. And so I'll be able to get done with work at 4, hop over and run practice every day.
Yeah. How does that work not working at the school in terms of just, being able to build a relationship with the kids and make sure their grades are good and they're going to class, all the things that come with being a coach that, you have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely harder because you don't see
Hmm.
them. They don't see you every day.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely kids in the first group that like I'm not making it to their practice that I don't know them as much as well. Um, but I think a lot of the bonding happens whenever you're in those high stress competition moments, and it's all right. Who do you turn to? Who's been in the room with me? Who's been running practices? I mean, I'm wrestling probably 2 or 3 times a week with the guys.
Really?
Um,
Oh, all
yeah, just
right.
trying to. But it's like those are the bonds you build are the ones that you kind of work with, and so whenever you're going on these, I think this trip this weekend is going to be great for us. Is that we have 14 guys or 16 guys. We get to take a couple extras. Um, but traveling 6.5 hours, you learn a lot about each other. Sitting in a
Yep.
car, sitting in hotels, um, seeing how you deal with adversity. But I think a lot of your experiences and a lot of that trust and build up comes from these tournaments.
Yeah. What are you gonna do to pass the time? Do you play like the license plate game? Do you have like a card game that you're gonna play? All right, everybody, we're gonna answer these questions or something like.
Dude, it depends. Going up there is probably going to be pretty quiet. I'll probably turn a podcast on, and those guys will be kind of dialed in, taking naps and
Yeah.
stuff like that, getting down to weight. Coming home will be a different story. I'm sure we'll be jamming out, having some music on, getting. I think we had to shoot 2 hour just like blasting the music for the last 2 hours of our drive back last year because it was or 2 years ago because it was shit, we were getting home at 11, maybe midnight on
Yeah.
that. So we had that music cranked loud. So I was making sure I was staying awake. And I was like, hey, because you guys aren't falling asleep on me. I need some help.
Yeah, last year, so I was a volunteer assistant last year at high school, and we took the kids to Carver Hawkeye, and
Yeah.
we watched Iowa wrestle Nebraska. And the road trip there, like you said, it was like 4 hour drive. Like you just learn so much, and there's like a bond that happens organically in those moments. So I can totally understand that. Like that's where the magic happens, if you will, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. It's in the time in between all of the wrestling. It's the time you're spending
Right.
outside of school, outside of like we're just hanging out.
Yeah. So when you got into high school, you're going into this school, Park Hill, that's starting to be pretty good at wrestling. But did your expectations change at all in terms of like your own, even though you're going into a school that's pretty solid and proven and you're a freshman, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was always, I mean, the goal was always to wrestle in college, Division 1.
When did that start? You said the goal was always that.
I think, I mean, shoot, growing up, it was. from the time I was, I don't know, probably 10 or 12. I start to
Wow, really?
see, well, you see guys going through doing the exact same thing, following the same path you are that are
Mhm.
ending up wrestling Division One. I mean, Allen was one of the first ones that I saw come through. Um, where I was in eighth grade, he's already signed with Mizzou. And shoot, by the time I'm a freshman, he's at Mizzou wrestling as a true freshman.
Yeah.
Um, and shoot, he almost had like an undefeated season going into NCAAs. Like it's like, all right, well, clearly it's possible. I'm on the right track here.
Hmm.
And then shoot, my drill partner ever since I was 6 years old with Keyshawn. Um, I mean, it's clearly he was one of the best in the country, and it's like, oh, if I just stick with this guy, I'm gonna get beat up every day, but by the end of it, we're gonna be pretty damn good.
Hmm. Yeah, he
So
ended up.
it was one of those things that even if I wasn't having the greatest success immediately, um, I mean, I still always had those goals of I wanted to be a state champ, and then I was going to go on and wrestle in college, and I think that was where kind of at least in high school, that's kind of where my that was the peak was just getting to college, was figuring out, and I think once I got to college, it was a whole different story of like, oh well, shoot, what can I do here? There's some new doors that have opened.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'll just get to that right now. When you get to college, if the goal was always to get to college and wrestle,
Right.
you achieve that goal. So like,
Right.
when did your mindset shift to like achieving a new goal? Because sometimes that can like, all right, I'm wrestling in college and that was the end goal, and so now I'm just like stuck in a
Right.
sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause I mean, when I went to Mizzou, I didn't know. Like, I mean, I was on a book scholarship, basically a walk on, and I'm looking at the lineup. I'm like, all right, I'm fourth on the depth chart. All these people are there might be a year older than me. Like they're not like seniors that are graduating. And then shoot, after I was there for a year, they brought in Jaden Ironman, who was by weight and top five in the country. So I mean, I think once I had gotten there, I started to see like, all right, who are the people that are having success? What are they doing? Um, and whenever I think if you just listen to Coach Smith he could talk for, shoot, you listen to him for 15 minutes and you feel like you're about to be a national champ. So it was one of those things that the more I could just listen to him talk, follow his um, kind of path that he's laid out with Tiger Style, it was all right. If I do these things, like good things are going to happen. And so started to have some success in some opens my first year, and then my second year I was still a backup, but was battling for the spot. Come end of the year, it was like me and the starter were going back and forth on who would actually win those matches. And it's
Mhm.
like, hey, that guy's ranked 20th in the country. He's 15th in the country. I'm not far off from being right there.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, it was just, I think from there it was, all right, now what do I have to do to get over that hump? And started with just writing down your goals, writing everything down. And, um, I had that posted in my locker that I was going to be a national champ. And I had, I was going to get this many pins. I was going to get out on bottom every single time. I was like, I had these things that I knew that
Mhm.
I looked down to my locker, I'd see those and hop up to practice and just kept me motivated going on. But
When did that become the new goal? You met the goal of being
yeah,
wrestling in college. Now it's like, okay, what now I want to be national champ.
I mean, I think that started. I don't think I'm sure I believed that I would be able to have success at NCAAs until maybe my end of my sophomore year. Um, because I was still, I mean, I was a end of my second year, so I redshirted my first year and then entered my redshirt freshman year. I was still, I was the backup, but I was, pushing our starter who was going to be a top 15 seed at NCAAs. I was like, hey, there's nothing. I have 3 years, and there's nothing that's stopping me from getting better than where he's at right now. Um, and I don't know. From there, it was just how do I? I mean, I knew I can work, and so I go in, put my head down, make sure I was doing everything right. You start to see, you know, different lifestyle of people in college. You'll see the ones that were great in high school that don't pan out. A lot of it has to do with lifestyle, and then you see the ones that um, come in and they weren't a highly rated recruit, but they're doing everything right. They're have their diet down, they're getting their weight down perfectly, they're lifting hard, they're wrestling hard every day, and those are the guys that you see by their junior or senior year or making the podium. I mean, shoot, some of them are even winning national titles. You look at it was a Kasser at Penn State, and then
Oh
this
yes, yeah.
guy at UNI, forget who it was, but
Drew
um,
Foster.
Drew Foster, yeah, exactly. Didn't win a state title, wins a national championship. It's like
Yeah.
there's stories like that all over.
Hmm.
And if you're one of those guys that are coming up with that same kind of upbringing, is like, hey, the only answer is to work.
Yeah. Did did the mundane work ever wear on you a little bit? One of the things when I talked to Joe, Coach Joe, the one of the things that struck me was he did the Leadville 100, and he's like, that wasn't really the hard part. The hard
Oh,
part, is all the mundane work you have to do to get ready for that.
training.
Like you like talking about the work, but like, and you like to work, but man, I'm sure there were some days where you're like, I don't want to, I do not want to do this today.
Mhm. I mean, there's definitely days when you don't want to. But I don't know. For me, I'm very much a team focus. So if there's a team counting on me, making sure I'm going
Mm.
to pull my weight. And so I think that comes from being a coach's kid growing up around a team, playing different sports with, you know, where it's more of a team sport than it's just you. But yeah, when I have a team that's relying on me, I'm going to make sure that my weight's right. I'm going to make sure that I'm working. And I was cutting enough weight that I couldn't really take an off day. So, I mean, I was went down from, 50, 52 down to 33. And I mean, yeah, obviously probably not the best for me, but once I
Mhm.
kind of got my routine of, I knew exactly where I would needed to be. I have my phone is just littered with, all my weight plans for the last year that I was wrestling. And it's, I can scroll and I know exactly what I weighed 6 times a day between before and after meals, what I was going to lose at practice, when I needed to get an extra workout. I had it all scheduled. And so I don't know, whenever I'd lay it out and I had a goal and I was like, this is what's going to get me there. So I don't
Wow.
know. It's one of those things where you get locked in on it. And I think that's something that makes wrestlers a little bit different in the head is that you get locked in
Mhm.
and you're able to do those boring things, the mundane over and over, repeat, eating the same things. But it all ends up paying off.
Yeah. Okay. Is there something you just said eating the same thing? Is there something that you ate while you were cutting weight that you like, ugh, I will never eat that again? Like, I'm done cutting weight now. I'm not competing anymore, so I can eat whatever I want to an extent. But I'm not going to eat that because I ate it all the time when I was cutting weight. And I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I was lucky. I don't have anything crazy.
Okay.
I was lucky with I mean, at Mizzou, we had our like athletic training center had the dining hall there, and so you
Yeah.
could go in there, get rice, chicken breasts, toss a thing of avocado on there, and some salsa, and that was my kind of go-to meal.
Yeah.
And so, but then they'd also switch it up every day. So you'd have turkey burgers, you'd have different things that were popping through.
Yeah.
But it was all, good, healthy food that were getting you everything you needed. So
Nice.
I didn't have anything crazy. I ate a lot of fruit, a lot of veggies, just trying to fill myself up rather than
Yeah.
packing on, extra calories, things like that.
Yeah. Was it sort of deflating, when you're sitting there as a freshman and you think you're making gains, like, okay, 41 is probably going to be a good spot for me, and they bring somebody else in, that's
Yeah. Yeah, because I was at 33. And so Ironman actually came in at 33 was going to be where he was.
oh, okay, okay.
And so, but he was at 33 his first year. Um, and so I was his backup for that one year. And then his second year, he started the year at 33. And we got to Christmas and he's like, I'm done making weight. I'm done going 33. I'm going up to 41. And so I got
Hmm.
a call when I'm off at Christmas break that, hey, you need to get your weight down, get ready because you're going to the scuffle in like 4 days and you're a
What'd you
33 pounder
weigh?
because I don't know. I was probably if coach asked me, I was 7 over. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
But I was never one to. I was pretty on it. I like that was kind of a team rule is you'd be within seven. If I knew I wasn't wrestling, I might get up to nine, but I was usually pretty good. Especially at
Mhm.
that point, I was pretty like coming into college. I wasn't huge for the weight. I
Mhm.
didn't get bigger until I was probably a junior or senior, where I was like, hey, this might be a
Gotcha.
little bit of a stretch. But no, it
Yeah.
was yeah, but it is deflating whenever have someone come in. I guess this guy's supposed to be their guy. They just gave him all this money. I'm sitting here on a
Right.
book scholarship. They're not really counting on me. I'm not really disposable if I'm not in here doing everything right. So I might as well, if I'm going to have my best shot, I have to do everything right. So
Yeah.
that's kind of just how I approached it. And I knew that, hey, they're bringing this guy in. I'm looks like I have a really good drill partner. There's not going to be many people out there that have a top 10 guy as a guy that they're wrestling live with every day.
Yeah. Wow. And it also the moral of the story here also is always be ready. You know,
Right.
you like you never know when your name's gonna be called. And I know people say that, and it's like, it doesn't happen as often as like what you think, but actually it does, because but it
Yeah.
happens. And so
Yeah. And
always be ready.
if I wasn't ready for shoot, they call on, it was right around Christmas. They call, I'm going out to scuffle. I end up getting sixth at the scuffle. And I was like, that's probably the best tournament I've wrestled. I beat some guys that I had never like thought I was kind of on that same level with.
Yeah,
Um, and so that's where I started gaining my confidence. Hey, they're counting on me. I'm now the guy. I'm going to make sure I am doing everything right.
yeah. Do you remember getting that phone call? Like, I mean, was it like Christmas Eve and he was like, "Hey, Christmas came early," or I mean, like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
was sitting at home with my parents and yeah, I got a call. I think it was Coach Smith that called me. He's like, "Hey, you're going to scuffle. Ironman's going up to 41. You're a 33 pounder." And I just like it was like that direct. And I'm like, "Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'm ready. When do I need to be back?" And so I was like I drove back home or drove back to Columbia probably the next day and
wow.
started training for it. So, I obviously I think I'd only been home for a day or two.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I looked around and told him like, "Hey, I think I'm starting. Like, there's nobody else here. Like, there's nobody else at the weight anymore. It's just me. Like, nobody wanted to make 33. I was all right. I make this my own.
Yeah, and like the other thing that strikes me about this little story here is that good things happen to people who continue, like, luck. How do I want to say this? You create your own luck in a sense.
Yep.
You continuously working hard and being on top of your weight and not moaning when somebody else comes in that's supposed to be above you, like you doing all A, B, C, D, all the way to Z the right way, and
Right.
then here's your shot, and you were ready,
Exactly.
and you seized it.
Exactly.
Like that's the other thing I got out of that. So if
Yeah, it's
anyone
one
out
of
there,
the it's
yeah, go
obviously
ahead.
it's hard to teach kids that like
Yeah,
how to. I mean, you never know when your chance is going to be there, but you have to be ready. Like
yeah.
doing the things that you should be doing, even if it feels like it's going to be for nothing. It's like it's always at least pushing you in the right direction. You're always getting better.
Right. Yeah, because that's always the other side of the coin is what if it never happens? Then you'll be like, well, I wasted all this time. But like you just said, it's not a wait. Like you're still pushing yourself. You're still becoming a better wrestler, person, human by doing this. It's not all for naught. Maybe you don't necessarily get your shot, but that doesn't mean that what you just did was not, essential.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that though, that at times where you felt like, man, am I gonna get my shot? Am I doing all this for nothing? Like, ugh.
I don't know if it's something weird in my head, but I never had a doubt. Like
I love
I don't
it
know.
though.
Like
Like, yeah.
I was something. I don't know if it just clicks for me, but whenever I got into the Mizzou wrestling room, I knew I was in the right spot that I needed to be. It was going to be the spot where I could be the best wrestler I could be, get my education. Was going to be able to graduate early, go to grad school. I had everything planned out that all right, I'm in the right spot for me. This is kind of the path that I need. So I never had a doubt that I'd be successful. I didn't know what success would look like, but I knew that if I stuck with the
Hmm.
path, I was going to end up the best spot that I could.
Got it. Very well said. Perfectly explained, basically. Like you chose, and this is kind of what you, this is everyone's dream, essentially, is they want to pick the best spot that they can have the best success at, whatever that looks like.
Right.
And that's what you did. So
Exactly. That was
you never like questioned yourself because you knew at the bottom of your heart and who you are, like this was the best spot for me. So you never, seems like you just never
exactly.
had that thought,
Exactly.
which is great. Wish everyone could feel that way.
Uh-oh.
How did you wind up at Mizzou in the first place? You said that you were on there basically on a book scholarship, so I assume that was for
Right.
academics.
Right.
So like, I mean, was there anyone else who was like, "Hey, we'll give you some money," or like kind of swaying you that way, or was just Mizzou because you were a big Alan Waters fan, you just went to Mizzou?
Yeah. So I took a couple visits. So I had an unofficial out to Stanford. I took an official out to Princeton,
Nice.
and I took my official to Mizzou. And so I was honest. I was looking for a place where I could. I knew I was going to have. I felt like I was going to have a better college career than I did high school. I knew that I hadn't accomplished what I wanted to in high school. Um, Ended up getting third, second at the state tournament. So it was like I was always just one match short, and I knew that I was still had like room to grow as a wrestler. So I wanted to make sure wherever I was going, I was going to be able to like compete on that side. And then secondly, obviously I wanted to get my education was huge for me. I was pretty smart coming through. And so that obviously that's why I kind of was looking at Princeton and Stanford. But I think just the whenever you go on a visit, you start to feel like, all right, can I be successful here? Like, do I feel comfortable with the people around here? What makes things right? And I don't know. I didn't quite get that at Princeton whenever I was out there. I mean, I think they were still um, kind of early on in developing what they have right now, which is, I
Yeah.
mean, now they've turned into where they're both a wrestling and academic powerhouse.
Yeah.
They have some big names training out of their room. Their RTC is great. I know Reese Humphrey's up there, wrestled with him at Claw. So, but yeah, I just got that feeling at Mizzou I could do everything I wanted to. I grew up, Coach Smith, I wrestled Coach Smith's son growing up all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
How'd that
and
go?
so I
Good, bad?
never lost. But, but it was a good time. Like everything just seemed to fit right at Mizzou.
Yeah.
And so I remember like sitting at home, or I was out playing on a soccer field, just kicking the ball around, and I was like, you know what? I don't know why I'm like dragging my feet on making the call or committing anywhere, and I just called Coach Smith right there in the middle of it and said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna be a Tiger," and he's all right. He'll send everything over, get everything sorted out, and from there, everything just started to fall into place.
Real quick, you say you go to KC sporting games, you want to go out for soccer, you're kicking us like why didn't you ever go out for soccer? Like where why are
I,
we not having a little conversation about you playing
I
soccer? Like
know,
what's up?
I know. So my mom knows that I blame her for the reason I'm not the next Messi.
Yeah.
When I was 5 years old, I was obviously trying all the different sports, and
Yeah.
soccer and baseball were the same season. And so I went
Mm,
out, I played both of them, loved, I'm pretty sure I love soccer. And it rained, and they still played the soccer game, but the baseball game got canceled. And so my mom told me that I liked baseball more because she did not want to sit in the rain. So that is whenever I chose baseball over soccer and never looked back. And then as soon as I get into high school, I'm getting later on. I mean, I'm a huge soccer fan now.
mhm.
Um, we'll warm up with our practices. We'll play, 10 minutes of soccer, get everybody running around. So
Nice.
that's, but yeah, the only reason I didn't play growing up was I blame my mom for it. She knows that.
Golly. Yeah, that is true that yeah, I mean they play in all sorts of elements in soccer, man. Um, you going to the World Cup at all then?
Shoot, I wish. I was looking
Yeah.
at tickets. They're crazy.
Are they
I might
really?
be able to sneak yeah, I mean, if you didn't win the lottery, I think the lottery for it was you could get like an Argentina ticket was like $400 or something.
Ooh.
But if you didn't get it in the lottery, I think it's going for probably 1,200 now.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. So I might be able to, I'll look for like a
Jeez.
Ecuador versus Curacao or something, some smaller
Yeah.
thing. See if I can sneak into one of those, see what those tickets are going for.
God,
But
I bet it would still be. I don't care, man.
probably not. I bet they're still 300, 400 bucks.
I bet it'd still be sweet though. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
go
the
watch. I'll go
atmosphere there is
watch
going to be
that.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, anyway, you know, you said that you earlier when you were like you're watching Alan Waters run around the outside and you're like, all right, if I want to be like him, I got to do those things. But what happened is, you know, you didn't you fell short, you know, like you wanted to be a four-timer, you wanted to win a state title,
Right.
and none of that happened. So like did doubt ever creep in like am I doing the things the right way? You know, I feel like I'm doing everything that he was doing, but I'm not getting what he got. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely hard. Like staying focused, staying on track. I think I probably credit that to all the like good coaches that I've had. Looking at Coach Tuck whenever I'm going through high school. I mean, he would tell me if I was doing something wrong. I trusted him fully, and
Yeah.
then once I get to college, it's all right. I'm trusting in Coach Smith. I'm trusting in Coach Joe. Um, those guys like I can lean on those people. And I think growing up as a coach's kid, knowing that I have, you know, good people in my corner that would lead me the right direction, was the only way that you kind of stay sane. And I was like, hey, maybe that guy's just more talented right now. Like he has something different, which obviously, anybody at the top of their game has something different about them.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know, they just always, kept reinforcing that, hey, you're doing the right things, you're on the right track. If there's anything more you need to be doing, we'd be telling you, like, you're doing the right things. So
Yeah.
just having people around you that you can trust and that are, have your best interests.
Yeah. Was there any one that stung more than the others, um, throughout the high
Yeah.
school career?
Yeah. My senior year was probably the roughest one. So ended up, which is funny because the guy I lost to is like one of my best friends now. But so
That's
we were
always how it works out,
enemies.
right?
Yeah, we were enemies in high school because we were at different schools across the city. But no, I got to my senior year, made the state finals. I was by far probably the like top seed. I was wrestling Austin Evler in the finals. We'd wrestled the year before, and I had won. It was like 13-2, and then finals come around. I get a takedown and quick turn. I'm up 5-0 wrestling the match, and I end up getting reversed to my back twice. And so I completely like black out, have no idea what's going on, end up losing the match by 1 point. And like that was just kind of the okay, everything just that could have gone wrong went wrong in that match. I felt like I had no business like even making it close.
Hmm.
And obviously anything can happen at the state tournament. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just one where it, yeah, definitely stung. I don't know if I had a there's only one match I was probably supposed to lose at the state tournament that
Hmm.
I did that lost. So that would have been
Yeah.
my freshman year. I wrestled Daniel Lewis, and
Huh.
we were all at 103. Yeah, and so he went on to be a four-timer, and my roommate my freshman year at Mizzou. But I think every other state loss was some sort of upset. Got tossed in a headlock.
Hmm.
Um, like I was winning, shoot 4 or 5-0 and got cradled 3 times. So, yeah, diff different things in high school where you don't necessarily have the in match adjustments or the ability to keep your head. So,
Yeah. I mean, how long did it take you to sort of reconcile with your high school career and, especially that last match and how it went down? I mean, you're probably thinking like the whole time, like,
yeah,
I'm going to be. Like, it's not I want to be, it's I'm going to be. And then like it doesn't happen. Like, I mean, how did you stay together and
it's
reconcile with like what just happened in your high school career? And still be
well,
proud of what
yeah,
you did accomplish. You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good people around. I remember I walked. There's when you wrestle at Mizzou Arena, there's about I don't know 14 flights of stairs you have to take to get back up to the seating.
Oh,
And
jeez.
so after I'd lost, I'm crying. walking up these 14 flights of stairs, and I get to the top, and there's Sean Hosford, who is he was our 120 pounder at that point. He should have been like a 45 pounder, but he's wrestling 120. And he had just won his like second or third title. And he just passed me like, hey, you have way more, like, you're going to be way better in college. Sure. Like, I don't believe that right now,
Right.
but like,
Yeah.
but I mean, you just had all the people around me knew that, like, hey, this isn't the end of it. This isn't where your story and you're going to, you're going to be right here in this arena again, like wrestling at Mizzou. Like, there's nothing that stops here. There's nothing stopping you from getting better from here. I don't know. It's just who you surround yourself with really kind of help build you up.
Yeah. Um, so then you wind up at Mizzou. You kind of are battling for the spot. When you finally secure the spot, I mean, did you still feel like I need to keep pushing? Like, because sometimes when you get the spot, you can like, oh, relax a little bit, just a little bit, where you're like, oh, I'm the guy. I don't feel like I have to chase something. There's not a target on my back type of deal.
I don't know if I was ever able to get comfortable with, being the starter because I knew that, the expectation at Mizzou is that we have all Americans, we have national champs. That's you look up on the wall, that's littered with it. You have the only things up there are did you win your conference title? Did you win? Are you an All American? Or do you have a painting up there because you're a national champ? I mean, there's a big old tarp that's hanging in the weight room that says we want All Americans and national champs. So, yeah, once I got him, if I'm not, you know, going for to be an All American or try to be one of the top guys in the country, there's clearly going to be somebody that's coming in right after me. So,
Mhm.
I mean, they're always looking to, be one of the top programs. So, if I was going to hold my weight and, secure the spot, it was really, all right, the only way to secure the spot is to get your stand on the podium.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I think they brought in Alan Hart as a as a 33 pounder not a year or two after that. I was his host on his recruiting trip and I'm walking him around. It's like, all right, here's the guy that I'm going to be battling with for the next three years as he's going to be
gosh,
the
yeah.
next one coming through.
Yeah, and he was tough.
Yeah,
Man.
he was shoot top 10 in the country coming out of St. Ed's at that point.
Yeah. And you didn't wait to make yourself known, at least for Mizzou. You came out and what your first match was like a 29-second pin.
Yeah, we had that was the old Missouri duels or whatever they were. We had, yeah, we were. I think we wrestled everyone in Missouri, and I might have been on the mat for a minute and a half.
Still, like it's the first time and there's a lot of jitters and there's just a lot of emotion that goes on with it being the first time. You make weight also and you're putting on that singlet like but
Well,
I mean you were just like I'm
no,
out of here. I'm out. Oh.
yeah, as the starter, yeah, but shoot, I actually I got a start um, whenever I was still the backup because our starter got pink eye, and that was probably one of the like crazier stories of like getting ready, and I think it helped prepare me to be the guy. But uh, shoot, it was the morning of I'm walking into practice. We if you weren't wrestling that day, you had a heavy leg day. We were going to get a lift in. I
Okay.
get my lift in. We go out to Chipotle. I come back up to the wrestling room just because Park Hill was coming through because they had a tournament in Jeff City right down the road. So I was in there playing football with them, just like messing around. And Coach Smith comes running in all frantic, and it's like, John, come over here, come here. We're like, what do you weigh? And obviously that was when the rule's seven, so you tell him seven, and it's like I got to be seven. I did not tell him I just ate Chipotle, and I and he's like, well, it's like the most you ever lost in a practice. I don't know, like five. Five's probably that'd be a pretty good practice. I mean, I'm pretty sucked down. Yeah, five. I mean, I've lost five before. And he's like, all right, well, that's gonna be a lot. And he just like walks back into his office. Like, okay. And so I go on, keep playing for a little bit, and I'm starting to walk out, and I peek into his coach. You need me to start running? And he's like, yeah, Sinnon's got pink eye. We don't have a 33. We're gonna go open if you don't. I'm like, okay, so I'll go get my stuff on. And so I hop down into the stuff. He's like, but check your weight first. And so I step on the scale. I'm 9.5 over, and we have 5 hours to weigh-ins. And I come back up, and Coach, all right, what do you weigh? 7.5. I got this. Don't worry. And so I have like three sweatshirts on. I'm running on the treadmill. I run like a mile, and then I hop off, do elliptical, stair stepper, rotating through. I get bored of that. I have my roommate over here throwing me routes. I'm like just rotating through for like an hour and a half, and I'm drenched in sweat. And so coach like, hey, check your weight, just see if we even have a chance here. And so I step on the scale. I think I'm still like 3 or 4 over. And coach, like, you only lost like 4 pounds. That was it. Like, there's no shot we're gonna get the other four out of here. And like, coach, don't worry, I got this, because I'd gotten probably 6.5. He didn't know about. And so, yeah, I end up getting the weight off, try to go through the warm up, and I'm like, "Coach, I can't move my legs. I'm not going to be able to go through it." Like, don't worry, just get ready for the match. So I went over, took an ice bath, got ready for the match, and we were wrestling Eastern Michigan at that point, and went out and very glad that he shot off the whistle because I ended up on top, and I think I got 5.5 minutes of riding time because that was the only way I was winning that match was staying on top. I think I ended up winning like 13-2, but it was all just top work and rolled out of bed the next day. Legs were crazy sore, but definitely. So that was really my first actual dual start.
Huh.
I think I waited until I had already graduated and was gone to tell him that I actually that was the only time I ever lied to him about my weight.
Wow. Again, talk about just always being ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think when you stepped on and saw 9.5?
I don't know what I like. There was never a choice of whether it was going to happen or not. I just didn't.
It
It
was
was a
gonna
matter of how
happen.
long it was going to. Yeah, it was how
Gotcha.
long was it going to take? I mean, I knew I was 7 at some point that morning. I just didn't know what I was at that point. So yeah, I mean, 9.5. I was probably actually pretty pumped. It's like, hey, that's we're under 10. We can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you still got to eat Chipotle that day. So I mean, it was
I did. Yeah,
pretty good day.
I got a heavy leg lift, some Chipotle, and wrestled a match. A lot of cardio.
Wow. Wow. I mean, what that like uh, that's just so awesome. Like you were like the ultimate team player in that moment. Like you went out there, you could have easily been like, ah, nah,
Yeah.
like 9.5. But like
Yeah.
you did it and like it wasn't even for like, hey, it's your spot now. It was like, we need you for today.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, we were gonna beat like we were gonna beat we ended up winning by, I don't know, 30 points.
Yeah, you're gonna win
I
anyway.
think
Yeah.
we might have lost one match that duel. Like it wasn't like the duel was in jeopardy or yeah.
So why'd you do it? I mean, that sounds like a silly
But you
question, but like
do.
all the things there, you were like, you just had Chipotle, you're playing football with the guys. He comes in, and you're like, I'm 9.5 over. Like, I mean, all the
I mean,
things said, hey, like, it's okay.
I it was just if you, I mean, I'd already gone a year and a half of I mean, should have make weight and not wrestle. I'd make weight and be the backup. I'd make weight just to make weight. I mean, if I'm getting told, "Hey, you're wrestling today, and this is your shot," there wasn't an option. It wasn't a choice. It was just you just do it. That was kind of the team needs you. You hop on the scale, you hop on the treadmill, you get going.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure that you garnered a lot of respect from, I mean, if you didn't already have it, you probably like magnified it by doing what you did there. That is if people knew, like I don't know how many people you told.
I'm pretty sure they knew. Yeah, yeah. I think they knew whenever I was over there sitting on the ground stretching while they were all warming up. Hey, this guy's been through it today.
I wonder if they knew. Did they all know? Or were they like, hey, what the? Hey, I want to stretch. Why is John just being able to stretch and I'm out here
I
working?
don't think they were. I don't think they were jealous of what I had done.
No, that's funny. That's awesome though that you were able to do that. But you kind of progressed in your career. You were a three-time MAC champion. But what happened? What was the difference between the MAC and then going to NCAA's? Because it took you 3 years before you finally notched that podium.
Right.
Which we're gonna talk about that match against Tariq Wilson. I promise. But like you kind of had to like get there. You know what I mean?
Loved the MAC. I thought it was like, I mean, it was great for me. It was a spot where you're going to get nationally ranked wrestlers in the conference,
Yeah.
and you're not going to get completely beat up. I don't think I would have been successful on a in a Big Ten like schedule wrestling the top guys every single week. I think that that's where I would have gotten broken down. But I don't know. With the MAC, it was I knew I was making weight, especially my senior year. We just had a program where I was making weight for the big duels. I was going to make weight for big tournaments. And I could really focus in on exactly what I needed to do to get over that hump. Those first 2 years, I was probably not as good about my weight, not keeping everything in check. Um, I would get to the shoot, I was probably getting to the national tournament and my legs are dead because I had to run, however many miles that week just to keep my weight
Mm.
down. Um, but I think I just started to learn kind of what it took and how to, I think, yeah, really how to be or how to achieve what I really wanted to was to get every single thing under control. Um, I was always having success at max where I would, won it three
Yeah.
times. Um, And then I don't know, some of it's just unfortunate. It's kind of what happens at NCAAs. You never know coin flip what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, man, by my senior year, I was ready and I had done everything that I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So you headed to nationals. Well, first off, your junior year, you lose in the blood round. I mean,
Yeah,
how big of a devastation? I mean, throughout your career, like there have been a lot of devastating moments,
right,
but they never deterred you from the ultimate goal. But like,
right.
I mean, how devastating was that to come up short? It almost feels like you were always coming up short, you know?
You get, yeah, that's the same kind of thing where, right, happened in the state tournament. Now it's
Yeah,
happening again now that I'm in college. Like, what is the thing that I'm not doing right? Yeah, you start to question that.
for sure.
Um, it helped that shoot, I wrestled Montori Bridges. I lost that match in the blood round. That would have been my junior year, and then I
Yeah.
wrestled him again 6 months later at Cliff Keen and end up winning the match. And so it's like one of those things was whatever we're doing, like whenever I had my senior year, it was like whatever I'm doing this year, this is gonna be it. It was
Mhm.
all right. And I think it helps that the coach is right. All right, you're getting to the point where you're too big to be making weight every single week because you can't be fluctuating 10, 15 pounds every week to and sustain that over a 3 month season, 4 month season. So
Yeah.
we got to the point where I was making weight for the big duels, making weight for big tournaments. Um, they would give me, days off or not days off, but like matches off whenever um, they weren't going to need me for the team at that point. And it was really, I think everyone's hands on deck was to, all right, how do we get this guy on the podium? And so I don't know. Whenever I just felt prepared. I felt like confident that honestly it probably helped that I've never really thought about the whole process and when everything started to click, but I've been going to our Bible study with our team doctor would lead a Bible study and is one of those things where all right, how do you define yourself? Is it
Yeah.
by your wins and losses, or is it by what you do every day? Well, shoot, it's what you do every day. That's what matters. And whenever you start to think that way of, all right, it doesn't matter what, obviously, like the outcome matters to you, but it doesn't really matter of who you are or any of that. Like that loss in the blood round doesn't tell me, like, this is who I am. That's not any part of who I am. It's just something that happened. And
Yeah.
so being able to say that, hey, the things that you're doing every day, how you hold yourself, how you present yourself, it's all like being a good person, doing the right things. Kind of goes back to the stuff that we were learning in Bible study. And
Mhm.
so by the time I got to my senior year, it wasn't about, all right, how do I win this match? It's how do I go out and be the best version of myself? And I think that shift in mindset kind of takes some of the pressure off. And then trying to hold off the jitters, hold off the thoughts of like, is this enough? When I got to that final round, I was like, whatever happens in this match is going to happen, and it ended up working out for me.
Yeah, it
But I was
did.
going to be
So
okay either way. Yeah,
yeah, and that's good. That I mean, that's good. just self-awareness and just that's good to have. Anyway, we're
Yeah.
to the climax of the podcast
Let's
episode,
do it.
the Tariq Wilson match. Because when I
Yeah.
talked to Joe, I was like, hey, first off, let me preface by saying the reason why I'm even here right now, not sole reason, but one of the reasons why is because when I talked to Coach Joe, he said, and this was just random, he was like, the one guy that I coached that like one of my favorites or the favorite, I don't know, I don't want to misspeak for him,
I'll be his
was you.
favorite.
Yeah, yeah, was you because like everything that he asked you to do and everything that he wanted, like you did.
Yeah.
He was like you were he was saying like you were basically the ultimate athlete, like ultimate coach's athlete, like and so that's what he said about you. And he's coached. I think he just said today
That's
he's like going on 20 years.
yeah. He just the man. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing but he is one of the best people that ever walked into my life. So, I mean, everything that I listened to everything he said. So it was yeah, just the perfect match for me whenever I was getting going.
Yeah. So when he said that, I knew I was like, all right, well, I gotta talk to this guy, you
Yeah.
know? And so yeah, that's what he said. That was one of the main reasons why I popped in, um, was because he had such high praise for you and was like, this is like the one guy I think of the ultimate guy that you want to coach is John. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you. But the other thing he also said was you wrestled in the craziest match he's ever coached. I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, that Tariq Wilson match. And I was like, I have to go watch it. So I went and watched it. And it was insane. Like,
Ouch.
um, yeah. Anyway, so going into that match, I just want to know, did you feel any more pressure because, you're back at the blood round, it's your senior year. Did you have did that weigh on you at all?
I I mean, obviously, there's all the pressure behind it, behind the match. I had gotten to the point where I was all right. This is what it's gonna be. I was gonna be devastated if I lost it, but I was I'd done everything that I could. I knew that I was gonna give everything, and whatever the outcome of the match, I was gonna be okay. Um, it was I don't know that just the matchup in general was about as kind of storybook as you could write it. So the year before, I was coming in as the 5 seed, and they didn't seed out to 32. They just
Right.
seeded as like top 12 or top 16,
Yeah.
and that was the year that Tariq got drawn in as just a random seed, and so I had him first round, and he ends up running the tournament, ends up getting third.
Yeah.
So I get upset by him first round as the 5 seed, thinking that this is my year, and that's when I lose in the blood round coming on the way back. And then I'm watching, I'm walking around Pittsburgh, and I just happen to walk into one of the hotels because I see that there's a match on. I'm like, oh, it's got to be like one of the matches leading up to who I'll wrestle. And I
Mhm.
hop in there, I'm looking on there, and I think it was Tariq versus Corbin Myers. It was like, all right, I've wrestled Myers, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, I've won every one. So, all right, let's go. Let's root for Myers here. And I'm watching,
Yeah.
and it just immediately Tariq's on his legs. He's moving. I'm like, all right, it's going to be exactly, this is the way it's supposed to be. Whatever
Hmm.
happens here, it's all right. I got to go through Tariq again. And so, yeah, it was just everything lined up for that match to be, that's the match. That's might as there's no other way to write it.
Yeah, and I'll like if you I found it on YouTube, so you can find the match. So I encourage
Yeah.
anyone seriously to go watch the match. Joe, Coach Joe, um, to his everlasting credit, he used two challenges on that match. And don't you only get like three in a tournament? And he
We
used
used them all. We used them all. So
yeah, we used them all on you. What the heck?
yeah, well, yeah, and it cost us. So Ironman is wrestling Yanni in the semis at the same time, and Ironman scores a takedown, or he gets near fall or something, and they don't give it to him. And Smith's going to throw the brick, and they're like, we already used it. We just used two of them on John's match over there, and so we didn't have any left.
Wow. Oh
And
my.
so I used them both, and we didn't win either of them. But I wasn't too. I mean, I didn't care at that point. That was the only time I was probably selfish about, not being a team guy, using all of our challenges.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So you're kind of the reason he got beat in that match. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
Probably, honestly, I'm pretty sure he had the takedown or he had the back, whatever it was, we were going to win. Smith
Yeah.
is, he'll live on that or die on that, that we were getting those points. But
Wow, that's funny. Um, well, you were saying that you watched him wrestle Corbin Myers, Tariq, anyway.
yeah,
And he was in on the legs all the time, or right away. He was in on your leg. He took you down like in 5 seconds. Boom, done, takedown.
that have been quicker. Yeah.
Like, I mean, did that like I know this is hard to recreate what you were thinking in the moment, but bear with me. I mean,
Yeah.
is that like shock? Like, oh shit. Like I'm already behind three
Oh,
seconds into this
yeah.
match.
In my head, you have all the thoughts come back of every, like, I mean, I think I got taken down and ridden the whole first period. So I was
Yeah.
2 minutes and 55 seconds of riding time. I'm sitting there on bottom and, I'm, shoot, it was our pick in the second period. And guess what I chose? Neutral.
Yeah.
Who the heck did I choose neutral? I got taken down again in 5 seconds. And so that's something Smith always like he'll tease me. Like, why did you choose neutral? He already took you down in 5 seconds. You thought you were going to get it better the second time? You should just chose top. I was like, yeah, I wasn't thinking at that point, and that's the
Mhm.
one thing I'll fault Joe on. Like, Joe, you should have told me to choose top. That's on you.
Yo.
But but yeah, I mean, I remember sitting after I got taken down the second time. I'm on bottom. He has, I don't know, probably both my arms crossed up, just riding the hell out of me. And I look over and I make eye contact with Joe. In my head, I'm just like broken down, and Joe's over there telling me like, "Hey, like, giving me the head nods that only
Mhm.
Joe can give, and the
Yeah.
like, stay in the court. Like, hey, you got this. It's gonna be like you're still in this match. You're only down. I mean, I'm only down 4-0 at that point.
Hmm.
Thinking, all right. I mean, that's near full at this point. So I don't know. I remember in my head, it felt like I was laying down there for shoot. I was laying down there for 3 minutes,
Hmm.
and I look over, and that's when yeah, when Joe gives me the head nod and like, hey, like we're still keep your head up, keep trying stuff, keep going, and
Hmm.
I don't know, things started to click and started to move from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because did you reverse him and get near fall?
Yeah, yep. I got a reversal and near fall. I think I went up 6-4, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
Which
the
is
last
like,
period, yeah, the last period gets a little bit dicey,
yeah. Yeah.
and so I think I was up by one. I get taken down with 15 seconds left, and we go out of bounds. And so I've already been rid. I think
Right.
he has however many minutes of riding time. I think it was tied at that point, but he had riding time, and I'm on bottom with 15 seconds left, and I think I do all the crazy stuff, whatever I can do. Um, I get a reversal. They only give me the escape. That's when we use our first challenge because I
Mhm.
had the reversal. I will. You can watch that. I had the
Yeah.
reversal,
Yeah.
but they give me the escape, and that puts it into overtime. And that's actually, I think that might be the only overtime match I had in college. Was that one?
No kidding.
It goes into like three or four of them. Yeah,
Yeah, and like it seems like you wrestled like a whole nother match too after that because you go into overtime, you wrestle overtime, sudden victory, and then you go into top and bottom.
top bottom. I think we both ride each other.
Yeah.
Shoot, the overtime, the on our feet. I think there's three or four like scramble positions where I'm
Yes.
basically going to my back, try to throw a headlock, doesn't
Yeah,
work.
he had you in like a body lock, I'm sure, and I think it was
Yeah,
a body lock or something. And I was
yeah,
like,
it's over. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah. I
mean,
don't know.
it was it. You know what? That match, and seriously, like I encourage people to go watch it. That match almost was the perfect storybook, not ending because it wasn't the end,
Right,
but to your career. Like you battled that whole match. I mean, shoot, I think you were in the overtime. You were still running back to the center of the mat. Like you were like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
would have wrestled a hundred,
That was, if
like
there was
50
anything I
minutes.
could do, I could hustle. I could move. I wasn't. I mean, I couldn't figure out how to stop him from getting to my legs, but I could
Mhm.
try to fight him off. I could try to make it as long of a match as I could.
Yeah. And, I mean, basically, like he had over 3 minutes of riding time. He took you down. Like you almost kind of from the outside looking in, you didn't have any business winning that match.
Right.
But what we just talked about for the last hour and a half is why I feel like you won that match.
Right. I mean, it's like it's the same shoot the move that I I go 2-on-1 to an inside trip, and that's something I've hit since I was in high school. That's something that like that was my go-to takedown, and that's like just a all right. I'm gonna go back to my comfort position. I'm getting to my 2-on-1, stick in my positions, try to get where my mind is in the right spot. And I remember looking up, seeing 5 on the clock, and I'm like, all right, well, this is all we got here. Go for the as soon as he hits the mat, I have no idea if there's time. I have no idea what there is. And I'm looking around trying to see like what's going on. And I look up in the stands and we have our strength coach and my teammate Matt Manley were up there just like pointing at me, going crazy.
Mhm.
I look over at Joe. Joe's like, I don't, has no idea. Just like tried to give me, and I think they had another 2-minute review. Comes back. There's 1 second left on the clock. Gets the takedown. So. I don't know. It was just everything. That whole match is a blur, but I can. It's one of those things where you can remember every little detail.
Yeah, and it was funny because like when I was watching it back, the commentators were saying,
Yeah.
we're going to another riding time, and all of a sudden, boom, you hit this inside trip, and you take him down, and I was like, holy, like, whoa, I was not expecting that. I didn't know how it ended. I knew you won, but I was like, I
Well,
didn't know.
yeah.
And so it was funny to hear them say like, all right, we're going to overtime or another overtime, and nope. And I
That
was
might have been my
gonna.
only shot of the game or only shot of the match. I was like, geez.
I was gonna ask you about the time that you had when you secured the takedown and you didn't know it was a takedown because that like if you watch the
Yeah.
video, you're like, I don't know yet. Like,
Right.
do you remember what that kind of limbo, what you were doing in that limbo? Like,
I mean, we've already had 2 reviews. There might as well go to a third one. You're just waiting there. You're waiting. But I mean, as soon as just like just as anxious as you can be, trying to look over, trying to check on the monitor. Can you see if there's a second left?
yeah.
But as soon as the guy comes across and or the ref comes across, gives us holds up the two. It was both fists up, looking for, who do you celebrate with?
Yeah, it had to be euphoric
Yeah,
in a
it
sense. And
was. I mean,
I mean, you
shoot, I would.
described it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just shoot. I walked off the mat, had tears in my eyes between me, Joe, and shoot, Joe and Alan Waters are the two in the corner.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, those are the guys that had been with me since I was little. Those are the guys that are, I mean, Joe was the one that took me under his wing once I got to Mizzou. And then, shoot, I walk into the tunnel and the, like, journalist that's under there that's writing a story is, Cody Goodwin, who I grew up wrestling with in high school. And
Oh my
so,
gosh, no way.
so
Okay.
Cody was on my high school team. I'm in there. He gives me a big, I'm just bawling my eyes out like everything had happened. Everything had gone exactly how it's supposed to. And,
Mhm.
the people that are around me are people that have been there all along. So I don't know, surrounded myself with pretty good people.
Yeah. Damn. And now Cody, full circle, Cody Goodwin's now covering Mizzou football.
Exactly. Yeah, he's back. Shoot, he was at Iowa covering wrestling, and then he went down to Alabama for a while. He's
Hmm.
crushing it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, awesome guy. So I mean, the other part of this is now you won and now you're an All-American, but like you got like you're not done, right?
He still have another match that night.
Yeah, you got another match. So you just
Yeah.
have this intense match. You waste all your challenges. Last second takedown. I'm an All-American. I'm crying. And you gotta go wrestle
You gotta go wrestle again. Yeah.
And the thing is, you won. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I I got lucky with the I'll say I got lucky at the timing that I got to wrestle RBY. So that's
oh, right,
that
you crushed him.
yeah,
I remember Joe saying that. I remember Joe
I
telling me that. Yeah, he beat up on RBY. I was like, really?
I they got lucky that it was at
No,
that
no,
point
no.
in no, at that point in his career, shoot, the next year he's winning NCAAs. He was just as happy as I was to be an All-American as his freshman year, and I'm sure that yeah, no, I went out there, got that one done, and then shoot, had to cut weight, and that's probably the easiest weight cut session you have is right before that Saturday where you just have to make weight and you're an
Yeah.
All-American. Yeah,
Gosh, yeah. So I mean, as we kind of look over the last hour and a half of what we've been talking about, and like your whole journey as a whole, I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you think about it much? Do you like kind of look back on your wrestling career and like, I did good, Are you like, I fell short? Like, how do you feel about it?
I, I have zero regrets and
Yeah.
am completely happy with how everything went. It's one of those things where you look back and it's like, all right, like was everything worth it? Was all the work that you put in worth it? Was it's like clearly that got me to be that's who I am. That like the work is yeah, that's the part that's who I am. There's nothing that I regret about doing, extra miles, getting my, keeping my weight under control, getting extra workouts. All of that was, I see it whenever I go to a wedding this weekend. All the guys around me are the same people that were right next to me. Those are my best friends, and they're going to be my best friends for the rest of my life. So I don't know. It's while you may look at it as all right, you ended up sixth. Your goal was to be a national champion. It's like I have zero complaints with where I ended up. I think whatever I did made to be the best version of myself. And the only thing I can do from here is to continue to try to be the best version of myself. So, yeah, have zero regrets at all.
Yeah, I love that. Lastly here, well, a couple things here before I let you go. How'd you end up back in Park Hill?
Yeah. So my now wife, she actually went to Park Hill, but then we started dating at Mizzou. She had graduated and moved back to Kansas City. She's a fourth grade teacher now.
Okay.
Um, but she had already lived back in Kansas City whenever I had graduated, and then shoot, I had a internship with a company in Kansas City that got set up with a referee that had refed me in high school,
No
and I still work
way.
for that company. So yeah, it's all everything seems to tie back to wrestling or connections you make in wrestling. It's just kind of how you hold yourself. I hadn't talked to this guy. Um, the referee before I had kind of graduated, but he had always been in touch with my dad. And as soon as I graduated, I got a call from him. He's like, "Hey, I think you might be a good fit for us." I
Nice.
mean, yeah, try it out. And so I'm here 6 years later, still with the same
Yeah.
company.
Did
Um,
you know your wife now? Did you know her in high school?
yes, we knew
Okay.
each other.
Okay.
We were friends, but we never really dated or anything. And then once we got to college, started dating, and then got married 2 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what do you do now?
So I work for like a family medicine practice. So we have 9 care centers here in Kansas City, and I help run a lot of the data work and design different quality programs and I don't know a whole bunch of math
Nice.
nerd stuff. So
Hey,
so I
math
get
is my
that during
favorite
the
subject.
day.
I'm a huge math
That was
fan.
a math major. So yeah,
Really?
and
Wow.
yeah, yeah, a lot of writing papers on why theories work. Yeah. Both my parents were math teachers, so I grew up kind of
Gotcha.
all
Okay.
around it, and then went on to get my MBA in my last year at Mizzou.
Gotcha. I'm surprised, I mean, I don't want to say, I don't know what the percentage is, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time, if you get a math degree, you're going to be a math teacher
Right.
or something like that. Like, how did you end up not being a math teacher, especially with your parents being math teachers?
Right. I was kind of wanted to figure out how I could use math to do different things,
Yeah.
or like I don't know. I was very interested in like how businesses work, how things work efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm super focused on how I had my workout plans, how I had my weight cut plans, how I had everything dialed in. It's kind of translated to, all right, well, how do we make sure that everything that's going on within the care center, that no patient's falling through the cracks? How do we come up with, I don't know, my brain thinks a little bit different about logistics and kind of things, like how things work.
Hmm.
And so doesn't necessarily take itself to being a classroom math teacher.
True.
So trying to
True.
find different applications, and it just happened to fit where I am right now. So
Nice. Well, that's
yeah,
awesome, because like with a math degree, I feel, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, that could be a tough field to get into or break
yeah,
into if you're not going to be a math teacher or like an engineer of some sort.
right, right, yeah. No, I think kind of tailing it off into the business master's program
Mhm.
kind of helped figure
Yeah.
out like how can you use math in a practical sense.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I noticed your fastest fall in college was 15 seconds.
Oh yeah.
What was that? Do you remember that match? I mean, as short as it
I
was, like
believe
how
so.
did that
I
happen?
think it must have been. I think it was a takedown right to a cradle. It always ends up being a cradle, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was in Hearns. We were wrestling. That one was either against Missouri Valley or Lindenwood or one of the. It was like one of the Missouri schools that we wrestled.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. You're at the college level. You're wrestling other
Right.
college kids. I know, like it might be different divisions, whatever. 15 seconds is still 15 seconds, and I feel like it's more impressive when you're at that because everyone's really good.
Yeah, I don't know. That was something I kind of prided myself on was being able to put people to their back. That was, I
Yeah.
think, my senior year. Part of my like what made it less about winning and losing was I was going out there with the mindset that I could pin this person at any point. Like that was
Yeah.
the like didn't matter if you were top 10 in the country or like I was going out there. I was gonna try to put someone on their back.
Yeah. Yeah. The last question I have for you is, people may have heard me call you Juan Ernesto because
Oh
that's
yeah,
what Joe mentioned to me. Coach Joe
that's
mentioned it to me, and I was like, "What is that?" So I got to ask, who or what is Juan Ernesto?
I believe that Juan is the probably the most athletic version of myself. So Joe has come up with many personalities that I have. If I'm putting weight, I get down to be, Mean Gene Ernst. That's my German counterpart.
Okay.
But Juan is the one that stuck. Everyone seemed to like the Juan. So that would be when we're playing kickball and I'm, diving all over the place. That's Juan. If that was kind of I think Juan's probably the best version of myself is what has kind of stuck as the nickname.
Yeah, I love it. Were you pretty like it sounds like you may have been like pretty athletic, you
I
know?
like to think so.
Yeah.
I was the first pick in kickball. It didn't matter what the sport was, pretty much. I was going to be top it was between me and Jaden Cox, so I felt pretty good about that.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Special thanks to my guest, John Erneste, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. And you can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't you forget to check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. See you next time.